Hi there, my name is Daniel from Transcontinental Trailer Sales. I'm going to be walking you through your 2023 Wildwood 171Rbxlx. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit. You're going to notice you are pre-wired for an observation camera as well as a lip-ridge stair system to get up to check your seals. You can talk to our parts department if you're looking to get either of those options. We also have the black tank flush, so the way that's going to work if you notice you're getting false monitor panel readings or you're noticing just odor or whatever. You just hook up a garden hose into here with your sewer hose connected and your black tank open. And that hooking up that garden hose and turning it on, it's just going to flush out that tank, rinsing out all that debris and just trying to keep that tank that little bit cleaner. You also have your exterior shower back here. You just use your silver 751 key, which should be included with your unit. And you do have hot and cold water back here. You also have your spare tire. And then just located in this back bumper cap, if you pull this off, you do have a sewer hose, and once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. Just taking note of the 2 ears on here. It's going to be the same 2 ears that hook up to your sewer hose system. In this corner of the unit, as well as all four corners of the unit, you do have stabilizer jacks. The way those works is we have a tool in the front compartment, and you're just going to hook it up to here. You're going to run this foot down to the ground. Once the foot reaches the ground, you're just going to give it another 1/8 turn just to firm it up. And it's just going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. You do also have these safety chains, which just latches onto here, and it's just for if jack would ever fail, it wouldn't be dragging on the highway without you noticing. For your power cord inlet, you're just going to pull this out. Take note of that notch here. Lines up with this notch here. Push that in, give it that 1/8 turn just to lock it into place, and then you got the threaded collar to really lock it down. Follow that cord back. You will find your standard 30 amp plug-in. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in. But let's say you're at home and you want to run your fridge or your campsite doesn't have 30 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keeping in mind you're going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like your air conditioner. And just taking note, you got 2 lights up here, a blue light and a red light. If you were to have a red light, that's just telling you have a faulty power source. So you'd want to look into that. Blue light's telling you have a successful power source. In this corner, you also have your cable satellite inlet. You also have your 2 low point drains. So let's say you're leaving the unit for a while, you don't want the water in your lines going stale or stagnant. You're just going to crack these guys open. It's going to drain all the water out of the lines. Here's your sewer hose connection. You got this cap here, and you just gotta loosen that off, pull that off. Just taking note of those 2 ears there. Those are gonna be the same ears that line up with that your sewer hose had. They just line up with those notches, lock into place. You got a black tank, a gray tank. You're always gonna want to empty the black tank first, as it's your dirtiest water, filled from your toilets, and then you can go behind that with the gray tank, which is typically cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. A little bit ahead of the unit, you do have your fresh water fill as well as your city water connection. City water connection is just going to be if you're at a site with service, you can hook a garden hose up to here and it's going to pressurize all your lines. No need to run your water pump. Just take note of this little silver exhaust here. It's going to be your furnace exhaust. Whenever you're running your furnace, this is going to be blowing out hot air. And right below, you do just have your fresh water drain. You just pull that valve and it is just going to empty that fresh water tank. Inside this compartment here, you just got some storage, as well as that 15 amp park adapter I told you about. Once you get to the front of the unit here, you got your plunge jack with a little light on front. One way is up, the other way is down. Taking this cap off, we also include a tool for a manual override in case you were to ever have a jack failure or just no power situation. Whenever you're using your propane system, most of the times you can just loosen these tabs off and do what you need to do right from this nice little quick cover. But for the purpose of the video, I will just take this off. Just slide off like so. You just got 2 standard barbecue style propane tanks. If you want to take them off to refill them, you do just loosen off this little wing nut on the top here. To turn them on, you're just opening up that valve, and it's going to open up the flow of propane to the unit. Right in front here, you do have your battery box. That's where you're going to store your battery. This compartment here, if you just open it up, you are going to have the tongue jack override tool I told you about. And then you do also have the stabilizer jack tool that just goes onto that nut there. Yep, one way goes down, the other way comes up. You got two 110 plugins as well as a little coax outlet if you were to have a TV outside. You just got some more storage in this compartment here, and you will notice you got these two little handles here. If you just lift up that handle, these boards come up, and it does give you access to your hot water heater for winterization. And then just right below that, you have your hot water little service port. All you need to know in here, you got your main drain bolt. So let's say you're leaving the unit for a while, you want to empty your hot water tank. You're just loosening that bolt off, pull it out. It's going to drain all the water inside the tank. You also have your pressure relief valve. Whenever you get your campsite for the first time, you're just going to want to give that a pull. There should have been a shot of water that came out telling you that your tank's full. There's no shot of water coming out because the unit's currently winterized, so you wouldn't want to fire up that tank because you run the risk of burning the tank out, turning it on dry. I'm going to go over a reset procedure inside. The button I refer to is just right here. And then if you were to want to fire it on electric, there is just this little switch in the bottom corner here. You're just having to hit that switch on, and it's going to fire up on electric instead of gas. Inside the unit, you are just taking that assist handle, pushing it up, holding it 90 degrees, it locks in place. Then you can open up your door. Whenever you are opening up your door, if you're trying to run your awning, just keep it in mind this door will block the awning. So whenever you are running the awning, just making sure the door is not blocking it. To bring the stairs down, just keep it in these two tabs here. Pushing these two tabs in will let you adjust your feet to your campsite desire, so that you sit nice, flush, and level. Take the step on inside. First thing, fire extinguishers on your right. It's going to be simple. Pull the pin and shoot. You do have some light switches on the wall here. This one on the left does just do your exterior speaker, little blue speaker lights, and then the one on the right does the awning light. And then you do just have this dimmer switch to turn on living space lights. It's a dimmer switch, so if you press and hold it, it does go dim to bright. And wherever you like the lights, you just let off and it'll stay there, and then just turn them off and on, quick and easy. For the awning on this unit, you're just pushing that button down, making sure your door is not blocking your arm. The awning's going to start making its way out. Even though that awning's fully extended, you can see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. There you go. That little flap should start. Unfortunately, we don't have quite enough room, but I will tell you that once it starts raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, and just pull down on this arm here, and it's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing that water to then run off. Now, if you like that pitch better, you can do the same thing with the front arm, and it allows for more shade underneath the awning. Just always making sure you push that back straight when you go to bring it in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. I also note that all the lights in this unit are just on their own center push buttons, so you can turn them on and off individually as you please. And then you do have your monitor panel in here too, where you have your battery, which goes low, fair, good, and charging. And then you just have your fresh, your black, and your gray, which is empty, a thirds, 2/3, and full. And then you do just have your water pump switch and your water heater switch. Whenever you hit that water heater switch, this DSI fault light's gonna come on. The water heater is gonna try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, you just have to turn this switch off, go hit that reset button and turn it back on, and it'll try lighting itself 3 times. Now that's if you're firing it on gas. If you're firing it on electric and you turn that switch on, the minute you hit this on, that electric water heater is gonna try start warming up that water. You are pre-wired for a solar system, solar panel system. If you were to want to do so, you can contact our parts department and they can get you all set up for that. Inside the main bedroom area, you do have just this little light switch for the light up above your head. And then you do have your couch. To get this into a bed, you just take these armrests and move them out of the way for a second. Grab the foot of the couch, just fold it out. You take your safety travel latches, loosen those off, and the bed does just fold down. You do have sleep app access on both sides of the bed. You also have USB plugins as well as 110 plugins on both sides. To get that back up, you are just grabbing the foot of the bed, folding it up, locking those travel latches into place, that way it doesn't fall on anyone's head. And then to get the couch back in, you're just grabbing the foot of the couch, pushing it up, and then you just kind of gotta grab the top of the couch and just move it back into place, and you plop your armrests back into position. All the blinds in the unit do work the same way. They are just kind of a sit where you leave them type of deal. And if you want them to go back up, you just pull it once and it does pop back up. This is a fire exit, so what you're gonna do is just gonna pull this tab. The screen's gonna pop right out of place. You're just gonna take this arm and push it out, and you can just jump right out of the unit. You do have this nice little side table. If you're needing some more counter space, the way that works is it just locks into place like so. To get it to unlock, you're just pushing that up. Just make those arms a little pull just to assist it a little bit, and it'll fold back down. Both the stove and the furnace in this unit do run off propane. So whenever you are using those, propane is heavier than air. The little LP detector down in the corner there is going to detect it. If that guy starts going off, you are just going to want to go to the front of the unit, turn off the supply propane, and open up all the windows just to ventilate it a little bit. The furnace in this unit is just going to blow all its air out of this main portal here, so if you're wanting to move it around throughout the unit a little bit, I do recommend getting a fan. Now as for the air conditioner, you do have two options. You can have these louvers closed, in which case it's going to move all its air through the ceiling ducting, or if you just wanted to dump it all into the living space, you can just open them up, and it's just going to dump all its air into the living space. You do have your sound bar right here. That's going to be just like home, minus the fact that you have zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 2 is going to be your exterior speakers, and zone 1 is going to be your interior speakers. On this wall here is just your TV backer. And then inside this cupboard, you do get access to your plugins, which you can run through this hole here. Where the TV backer is, you just run the cables through the back here, and you do have your cable satellite hookups in here as well. And then just this little black button is going to turn an antenna on in the roof, improving also radio frequency. You can also turn it off if you're wanting to do so. The dinette in this unit does fold out into a bed. You're just having to pull those legs off, get the tabletop to sit on the ledge, and just take your back cushions to fill in the center. In your kitchen area, you do have this overhead fan, which you're going to want to have running at all times whenever you're using the stove, because it runs off propane. To get that stove going, you're just flipping the top open, turning those lights on, turning that burner over to high. Just keep it in mind whenever you're firing up the stove for the first time after a while, it does take a minute to clear all the propane out of the lines. But just being patient while you hit that sparker. And just giving it a minute just to get the propane flowing. Like I said, sometimes it can take a minute. There you go. Now to get the oven going, it's kind of the same deal, minus the fact that you're going to be turning, you got your little coupler down there, you're just going to have to watch for whenever you fire up that pilot. The way that works is you just throw that over to the little flame option, hold that button down, and you're just hitting that sparker. But again, like I said, if you've left the unit for a while, sometimes it can take a minute just to clear all the propane out of the lines. Or clear all the air out of the lines. Sometimes I do just turn it on to full blast for a second just to try and speed up the process a little bit. And there you go. That pilot, once that pilot's lit, just holding it down for another couple seconds, and then you can let off, and it'll hold its own, and then you can turn it up to its desired temperature, and it fires right on up. And then just turning it off when you're done. And then you do have your fridge on this side. The freezer has its own controls inside the freezer. And then down below in the refrigerator, it also has its own controls, as well as the on-off button if you're wanting to turn it on or off. This does run off 12 volt as well. And then right below that, you do have your little fuse breaker panel. Whenever a fuse pops, it's going to be a little red indicator light telling you which one's popping. Whenever a breaker blows, you're just going to sit in the middle, so you're going to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. You'll see here you do have two little screws. Those screws come out. This is going to be a false panel. It pops out of place. It's going to give you access to your water pump for winterization. On the wall here, you do have your thermostat. Hit that button once, it's going to illuminate itself. At any time, you can push the buttons up or down to change the temperature settings. Hit that button again, you're going to go into fan low. Now at this point, you're just moving air around with the air conditioner. There's no cooling involved. Hit that button again, you go to fan high. Now you get to cool high, so now the air conditioner is going to run full time on a high fan. Same thing with low fan. And now you get to the auto. Auto becomes an on-demand system, so once that thermostat senses the trailer's at the temperature desired, it's just going to cut in and out as needed. And then you just get to heat. Hitting that button again just brings it off. And then inside the bathroom, you got your light switch on your left. You do have a nice little overhead fan that you're able to open up and turn that button on. I do recommend getting a max air vent. That way you can have this open and on whether it's raining or not, and you can contact our parts department for that. You got storage inside here, and then you do just have your main GF5 plug, so if you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd check. You got test on the bottom, reset at the top. As long as that little green light's on, that's just telling you that the circuit's complete and ready to go. And then just your shower with hot and cold water. That's going to be it for this guy here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.